So give me a location. Where are they? Location. Where are
My name's Sarah Alkins. I work with the East Leeds Youth Theatre, so I run it as far as the young people will let me. I kind of am the ringmaster. But one of the great things about the youth theatres, we run it in East Leeds, is that the young people call the shots.
Is different from regular theatre, and I'm really interested in what you feel theatre brings to young people's lives.
Yes.
Who's got the map?
Aaron. One of the things for us we discovered when we were working on these issues and working out how we were going to forum theatre rather than simply do a performance, it is that element of impro. It is that element of taking what the audience gives us, and it's the opportunity for the audience to live their experience through an actor. So you've got the safety of distance, but there's also the element of walking around in someone else's shoes. So you've got both things. So for someone, they can kind of become you, or you would be the method by which they'd speak. Also, if it's outside their experience, they can actually live someone else's experience through you. So if you are the victim of sexual bullying, or if you are the sexual bully, they can suddenly see things from your point of view, and you can do it completely from a position of safety from the audience, or you can break through that wall. And one of the things we talked about when we were creating our the little scenes, which are also sort of just setting the situation.
The scenario, just to get the ball rolling, is that they're lost.
Yeah, in Japan.
In Japan, trying to read a map.
Was the difference between theatre for performance and theatre for this kind of purpose of facilitating conversation.
Because some people who may be watching this. So could you just very briefly summarise some of that?
Well, I think we had that moment because we've worked a scene out, which is one of the actors will actually leave the space. Insults are being thrown around, and we're going to ask the audience for more of those sort of sexual slurs, right, everything from slut to virgin and all points in between. But halfway through that scene, one of the actors is going to absent themselves. And we thought about how we could do that, and there were ways, if it were a performance, because he was saying maybe I'll get lower and just be on the floor. And I think if we were doing a performance in the theatre, that would be very effective. But in order to stimulate discussion, we've had him leave the space, because we can ask the question, where's he gone and what's he doing? These guys are particularly good at is improvising and using their own experience, and they're all very...
How important is it that these are real life stories for you, that this has happened, a lot of the scenarios to people?
I think it's really important.
Yeah.
Because people don't talk about this enough.
Do you feel more responsibility with the roles then?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sarah says they're living the experience through us.
Through us, yeah.
Don't give it a map! Freeze! So, what do we think's happening now? What do we think should happen now?
I'm not fearful, I'm not going to do something because it won't be good. Where do you stand? How do you work with this good issue that everyone's frightened of?
We say from the off, don't we, that no one has to do anything. I do this thing in a warm-up. Basically, we get people to say their name, and then you can go, congratulations, you've all performed in this room. You've said your first line in public in front of everybody. And what I might do if I'm feeling particularly wicked, everyone says their name, but then you do your name and a gesture. So not only have you spoken, you've done some physical theatre.
Hey, Maggie.
I'm Kai.
Oh, yes, you are. Hi, Kai.
I'm Terry.
He is.
As grown-ups thinking, all these young people are surrounded by this porn and they don't stand a chance, to actually see how young people can and do deal with it. But through their experience, get even more understanding and be even more clear, and maybe have better information going into schools and better resources for teachers. One of the things that was said to me by a young person in Allerton Grange, in fact the whole group, talking about porn, is how much responsibility lies with the adults that don't have grown-up conversations. That people watch porn to find stuff out. And when they ask grown-ups, the grown-ups go, oh God, I can't, and don't, and what did they say? If you're old enough to ask the question, you're old enough to get a proper answer. And I think this afternoon, maybe we're working towards finding proper answers.
Okay, this is a warm-up game I play with the youth theatre.
in order for it to be theatre, we need a little bit of tension, we need a little bit of friction. So they're tourists, but who are they to each other?
Friends.
They're all friends together. Oh, loads of frictions then, you're all getting on really well. Okay, there is one problem, what is it? They've fallen out. They're exes. Your tourists, these two have split up. What are these three? How do they feel about it?
They're kind of annoyed because they're kind of like a friend holiday thing.
So, what do we think's happening now? What do we think should happen now? Hey? Yeah, I think it's floating your boat. That one, you've got both coming up. And one of the things we do when we're most uncomfortable is laugh, which is fine, but actually how that feels to someone else, or what material. Because what you're doing that's quite good is you're moving the story ahead, but it's quite a long way ahead. Was it? I didn't see who spoke. Was it you? Yeah. Isabel should turn round.
Yeah.
I will stop it, and you can make those kinds of decisions. That was a scenario that you.
How do you feel that went? I'll come to you, Sarah, first.
Well, I think it went very well.
I like the way they connected in and they were all chilled out with us.
Because it is a taboo topic, people don't really mention it a lot.
Like you said at the end.
Yeah, I just feel like it needs to be mentioned more.
Yeah, with the amount of questions and answers they had, I thought it was good that they knew stuff and they wanted to speak more about it.
Yeah.
It's really good. They've got people thinking about it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely thinking about
I
it.
think it also helped that they did the scenes in a sense, like that they
Joined
tailored the
in.
scenes to their needs, and that I think meant more for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it works better than us just showing up and doing a scene.
So if we came, they were quiet, it wouldn't work. But because they joined in, it just all fell into place.
And I think it was very, you dealt with the direction from the audience really well. And there were a couple of moments, because, it wouldn't be like that, and none of you went, how dare you, something like that.
Yeah, my name's Sarah Tattersall. I'm head of RE and PSH. They really enjoyed the drama. That's had really good feedback. They enjoyed that the best. I thought that they build the confidence in such a subject matter to talk about things that they wouldn't necessarily talk about to a teacher that they know, or in a big group. They've just said to me now that they think this works, but only in small groups. They said they'd be worried to talk about things like this in a whole class scenario.
I'm Emma Dodsworth from Allerton Grange School. The students have really enjoyed today in a drama form that has really appealed to them, and I think for us back at school now we've been able to look at a creative way of delivering these topics that we've definitely learned from today.
Gareth Cleesby, also from Allerton Grange. I think the students today have really enjoyed the session. I think anything that's innovative for taking PSHE forward is really, really important. So,
Have you learned anything today?
yeah, I've learned kind of different ways of trying to make it more edgy and kind of keep the students more engaged rather than doing it the old kind of ways that we've done over the years. So I think kind of anything that we can look, different avenues we can explore to improve the engagement levels, I think is really, really important.
So, hi, my name is Rakib and I'm from Allerton Grange High School.
I'm Alia and I'm from Allerton Grange High School as well.
And could I ask you, what did you think coming into today? Is it what you expected?
Well, I didn't know actually what we were going to do here, so I was just I got kind of like the basis, like, the drama workshop and a bit of theatre included, but I wasn't sure that the topic was going to be so sensitive, but it didn't really bother me much because I know that I'm quite open about topics like that, and it's nice to learn about things like that and how to deal with certain situations.
Told us a bit more than he knew, and I was a bit first. I was like, when it came to the drama and theatre aspect, I love drama, I love theatre. That's normal for me. But when it came into like sex, I was like, but I was alright. I'm mature about it and I could talk about it and stuff. But I was a bit thinky first, but now I'm I quite liked it. Nice.
I think this helps a lot with the whole role play.
Because you got to see different people's views that are from like a different background, possibly.
I think I learned, or maybe it was just really reminded, just saying to you then, just really reminded about how we need learning to be relevant to each individual, where they're at. We need to be able to work with each situation and each person differently. So how do we provide education if it's all so unique, so individual specific? Just actually, these are really great ways to do that. People can talk back to it. It's not just on the slide or on the textbook.
That was good.